Hi, I'm Miranda. This is the fifth video, and I've been talking about opiates. My addiction started when I was 21, and when I was 25, I started trying to stop, and a year and a half later, I am still trying to stop completely. I am in recovery. I have been clean for several months, and I'm not out of the woods yet, but hopefully my story can help somebody. Um, so where I left off was my complete failure to try quitting cold turkey, and I had started using again because of a car wreck, and I decided I wanted to try again, and I was going to try cold turkey again, but I wanted to try to find a detox center where maybe I could get some help. So I started calling around, and um, they kept telling me the same thing, that there's no detox for women coming off of opiates in the area. Um, I didn't understand why. So the third place that I called, I asked, and they told me that it's because you can die. You can die from withdrawal from opiates. And it that scared the shit out of me, and it pissed me off. I I was like, "Oh, yeah, fine. Then I'll just fucking die in my apartment. Thanks a lot. You guys will cause this problem, but you won't help fix it." I mean, that's where my addiction started, was in a doctor's office, but here I'm reaching out for help from someone in the medical field, and no one will help me, because I could die. And I felt just so pissed off about it. So I gave up, and I went back to it. And I continued taking them because I was so afraid that I would die if I stopped. And but I knew that I could get help. I knew there had to be something. So I continued to do research online. I found some videos on YouTube and different places online, different forums about suboxone, suboxdoc. Thank you so much. Your information has helped me a lot, and Euphorol, you've given me a lot of hope, and there's a few others I can't think of names, starting suboxone, and um, but I started learning about suboxone, and I kind of started asking around, and a girl that I knew was on it. She said that she would give me one, and then that changed to, well, she would trade me. So she traded me one suboxone for 9 hydrocodone 10s, and told me how to use it. I went into withdrawal for 2 days, and I broke it in half, stuck it under my tongue, and within an hour I felt completely normal. I wasn't high, but I wasn't sick, and I was completely amazed. I didn't know that I would ever feel like that ever again. I felt like I did when I was a kid. I felt perfectly normal, and I didn't think it was possible. Um, so I started doing more research, and I found a couple doctors. I actually called every single doctor's office within a 200-mile radius of Spokane, where I live, and put myself on the waiting list. Suboxone doctors, they are specially licensed for Suboxone, and they can only take so many patients, so the lists sometimes are long, and it took about 2 months before I got a call back, but during that time I started making changes. I moved so that people couldn't find me. Um, I quit my job. I started just cutting people out of my life that I knew wouldn't be good for me. And I just started doing it. I just knew that I had to. I had to start making changes. And they called me and had me come in and do an intake, and they asked me a bunch of questions, and it wasn't easy to answer them, to tell them how much I was taking and how often, or how I was getting the money to find all these drugs. And it was difficult. They told me I was about 2.5 months, 3 months out, before I would be able to start the program. And those were the worst months of my life. It seemed so close. It seemed so close. I could almost touch it. My sobriety, my being free, but it seemed so far away. Every day was like living in hell. I had to make appointments with doctors and counselors and drug treatment, and I had to continue using just to get up and go to these appointments. And I had to continue selling myself to get money to be well, to get my medication so that I could make it to these appointments, so that I could get well. And it was difficult because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do any of it. I just wanted them to give me my suboxone and let me get on with my life. But I'm really glad, I'm really happy for those months, because it made me realize how how much I did want it and how much I needed it, and that I didn't have to live in hell, that I could do this, but I really had to commit, and I really had to change. So every day I would wake up and do the same thing. I would go to appointments if I had them. I would schedule appointments with clients, um, go on my little missions for my pills, and close my eyes at the end of the night and get up and live in hell again the next day. Um, but what was really hard was knowing other people that were on the program and watching them use and trading their suboxone, and I felt like they didn't deserve it because they weren't working the program, they weren't doing what they were supposed to. They were selling their suboxone and getting oxys or hydros or whatever their drug of choice was, and here I am waiting, and they're taking up a space for that I could have. And it was difficult to do, and to watch, but I'm very thankful for it. And I finally got my turn, and the last day that I used was July 18th, 2009. I got drunk and I took a bunch of pills, and the next day I went into withdrawal. I was in withdrawal for 2 days before they gave me Suboxone, and when I took it, I felt normal again, and I was so grateful. And I've been in recovery for several months now. They're actually starting to dose me down, but we'll get to all that. That is where I got help, was from Suboxone, and I learned a lot from people here on YouTube, and I'm just grateful that other people put their information out, and so I'm trying to do the same, because it is a big deal, and it helps, it really does. Suboxone, um, Euphorol, starting Suboxone, other people, I really want to thank you for your help and your um, just putting your story out there and letting people know that you can do it and it is possible. You can be free again. Um, so we'll start the next one. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, who knows.